For your zipper pocket number 1, which is the bottom left one on the front of the Sami Cross Body Bag, you're going to need your bottom left panel piece. I'm doing mine in blue camo. And you'll need your zipper pocket lining, your pocket lining piece, and your zipper. As you can see, I've already stitched the ends. I do mine by the yard, so I stitch the ends so that I don't accidentally pull the zipper pull off. Okay, so we're going to start by having the bottom left panel piece facing up towards you, and you grab your zipper. Now I like all my zippers to open from the left, so I place mine down. I open it because it makes it a little bit easier, because I'm going to be stitching from this end first. So if I have the zipper pull down the other end more, I have plenty of room to work with. So place it on there and have, even if it overhangs a little bit, I cut mine at around 6.5 inches, just to give that little bit of extra room when I put the zipper pull on, because I tend to always, I don't ever get them even at the ends. So use your clips, put them on. I like to baste it first. It makes it a lot neater job when your pocket's all finished, because if I try to sandwich the two together and stitch them both at once with the pocket lining, I tend to make mistakes and I have to, or it just doesn't look as neat as I want it. So I'm going to go and baste this now, and then I'll come back and we'll put the pocket lining on. Okay, so we're going to stitch the zipper to the front left, the left bottom panel, the bottom left, sorry, not the left bottom, and place your zipper foot at the edge of the zipper and in 1/4 inch, oh you can do, sorry, it's 1/8 of an inch, because we don't really want stitching showing through, like just in case you're out a little bit when you add your pocket lining, and it's 1/4 inch. If you've got this 1/8, none of that stitching is going to show through later. Now, as we get to the end here, because I want that to line up nice and flush, you lift your foot and then pull the zipper back the other way, and then as you can see, it's nice and flush on the side. Okay, so we've put our zipper on, as you can see. We've basted it, used it using a large stitch. Oh, I don't know why I tend to back stitch sometimes at the end. It just depends. It's not going to make a difference if you back stitch there or not. Okay, so now we're going to put the pocket lining on. So you grab the right side of the pocket lining, we go to the shorter end, and I would pull the zipper out of the way again, put it down the end, and then line them up with the other side so that they're flush on the sides. Use your clips or pins. I like using clips. I use clips a lot. There we go. And then we go over to the sewing machine and we'll stitch those two together at 1/4 inch. Okay, so we're stitching our pocket lining, the zipper and the bottom left panel together. So it's at 1/4 inch. Remove your clips as you go. Now, the same as before, when we want to move the zipper pull, keep your foot down. Luckily I have a machine where it just stays down when I stop. And then remove that last clip. I have a knee lever too, so I can lift my foot up, as you can see, and then I pull all the fabric away and I pull the zipper. If you can see under there, pull the zipper past the foot. And line your fabrics back up again. Okay, so as you can see, we've got the bottom left panel, your zipper and your pocket lining, and when you open them up, your zipper should also be facing the same way, all facing the right side when you have them open. Now we need to go and fold these both down, close your zipper because that'll make it a little easier to fold, and go over to your iron and press them down. Make sure you don't iron your zipper, or you can just press with your fingers. It's up to you, whatever you prefer. So we're going to top stitch now through the bottom left panel and the pocket lining. So they're both wrong sides together at the moment, as you can see. I've changed my foot too because I don't really like top stitching with the zipper foot. It sometimes turns out wonky and I'd rather just use the normal foot. It's pretty easy to switch between feet on my machine when I have my little screwdriver handy. Remove the zipper as you go along, the zipper pull. Okay, so that's done. While we're sitting here, I don't need to go back over to the table because I can just do this here. So we're going to fold your pocket lining up to meet with the edges of your zipper, looking at the front and making sure that your sides all match. You don't want it to go out like that on the sides because it will mess with all your measurements and you'll lose part of your pocket on the other side. So you could go the iron and press that down if you want, it's up to you. So grab our clips again. Yep. Now I'll change over my foot to a zipper foot. It doesn't really matter because I'm only going to baste it, so I probably could have used that other foot because I'm not going to go in that far. If I go in really close to the teeth, I can't use that other foot. So we're just going to baste at a 1/8 inch again. We'll try and line them up with the edges. This is why I'm so slow at sewing, because I'm always stopping to make sure everything lines up, because it really bothers me if they're out even just a touch. I know it shouldn't, but I've been doing this for so long now that I sort of expect better standard from myself. Okay, so as you can see, we've got a little pocket. Perfect size for holding like your lip gloss, your keys, a bus pass, or anything handy like that, because I hate rummaging through one big pocket for everything. So that's why I've decided to I made the Sami Cross Body, so I've got a couple of little pockets and a big one for my phone on the front. So now, last thing we're going to do, I could use my zipper foot for this because this won't matter. It doesn't have to be overly neat. So I'm going to go down the sides and just quickly baste, just so that the pockets don't move. So I do that one, and then I tend to go at the back of the other one so that I don't bunch. If I go from that way, the pocket may bunch up. 1/8 of an inch on the sides, just enough to hold them in place. Okay, so we finished zipper pocket number 1. Okay, so we're going to add our top left panel now to the bottom left pocket and make the top left pocket. So use your clips and clip it to the top of the zipper, making sure your sides are lined up. Okay, we're going to stitch the top left panel to the bottom left panel with the zipper pocket between and at a 1/4 inch, and make sure you back stitch at both ends. Okay, so we've pressed the top panel, the top left panel, away from the zipper. As you can see, the zipper pulls on the outside, so it's all exterior facing up, and we're going to top stitch along the top left panel at 1/8 inch, catching the seam underneath too. Okay, we're just going to baste the other zipper to the top of that left panel, making sure that your zipper pull is facing the same way as the previous one that you did. So when it's closed, you want either both going to the left side or to the right side, whichever you prefer. Or you can do them opposite ways, it doesn't matter. Being different's normal these days. And I'm going to use because I'm basting it 1/8 inch, I'm using my normal foot because I'm not going to be touching the zipper teeth, so it's not going to go all wonky on me. Okay, so we've grabbed our other pocket lining and we've laid that over the top of the zipper. So as you can see, the zipper's sandwiched between the top left panel and the zipper pocket lining. And we're going to stitch them together with a 1/4 inch seam, making sure you back stitch. Moving your zipper pull out of the way. Also make sure that your pocket lining is matched up with the sides. Sometimes I've cut my pocket linings like a little bit extra in width, maybe a 1/4 of an inch, just in case I'm worried that they're going to slip as they do get sewn together, and then any excess that's hung over the edge I've just sort of trimmed off later. Okay, so now we're going to fold that back over and take it over to your iron and press it down, and then we'll be top stitching across here. Okay, so once you've pressed your pocket lining and your top left panel away from the zipper, we're going to top stitch again across and catching the pocket lining underneath and at a 1/8 inch. You don't need to back stitch on top stitching because all that will get concealed later when you do all your add your other pieces. There we go. And we go, turn it over, flip your pocket piece up, just like you did the bottom one. Just line it up with the sides. You can press either with your hand or your iron, it's up to you. And then we're going to baste it with another 1/8 of an inch, or around that anyway, just as long as it's under the 1/4 of an inch and it doesn't show later when we put the top panel on. And then don't forget to baste down the sides of your pockets to keep them in place. Make sure they're all nice and flat before you do. Trim all your threads off, and there we go. We have your 2 front left pockets completed. I've clipped the middle panel right sides together to the sides of the pocket on the inside, or not on the curved side, but on the flat side. Right sides together, and we're going to stitch down at 1/4 inch. Back stitch at both ends. We've just run out of bobbin thread right at the end. Look at that. Wasn't that lucky? I even got a little bit of a back stitch in. So then take that over to your iron, press it away, and we'll come back and top stitch it. Okay, so we've pressed that middle panel away, and when we top stitch, you make sure you catch all that seam allowance underneath. I usually top stitch on a 4 when I'm using cotton fabrics, but if I'm stitching a vinyl or a leather, I tend to go up higher to a 4.5 or even a 5. It's actually starting to come together and it's looking really good.